Hi, Anaisa. So for this week's video, I also did the first video with the cognitive therapy and the distortions. And sorry, somebody or my partner is cutting onions and stuff in the background, so that's noise, and my eyes are watering, so I'm itching them a lot. But number one, what cognitive distortions are evident in Helen's thoughts, and how does the therapist respond to them? I also saw a lot of the same things you did. I saw you talked about. The one thing I didn't talk about was the all or nothing thinking, and she does seem to do that when it was like either going to be potentially great or it was going to be horrible, and then the class being horrible, she was catastrophizing it, thinking, okay, I'm not going to learn anything from it. I've already got my master's degree. My husband is going to resent me because he has to watch the kids on the weekend. So I definitely saw a lot of those two things as well. Or the catastrophizing. I can see how you also thought all or nothing. And then I also agreed with the mind reading aspect, because she was worried that her husband was going to be resentful, and she was having this negative prediction when she has no idea what was happening, or what would happen, or how he would react to it. And then as far as how the therapist responded to them, I liked how you brought up how she handed her the paper, because I didn't even think to bring that up. And she allowed her to choose which ones that she thought she was, automatic thoughts she was using. And when she did identify the mind reading, the catastrophizing, and the emotional reasoning, the therapist was really supportive of that. And then I don't remember which one it was. Maybe it was personalization or another one, but Helen thought she was also having these other automatic thoughts, and the therapist kind of rephrased what that meant, and to basically let her know she didn't think that's what she was doing. So I really liked that. I liked how she Helen was able to, as she was reading over these cognitive distortions, she was able to figure them out for herself and reflect on them herself, and how that was impacting her. Question number two, what are the frequent cognitive distortions that you've seen in your work with students and or teachers, and what consequences do these distortions have? You talked a lot about the all or nothing, especially in math, and I can totally see that with kids, because it's like, I think math is such a systematic thing. It's following systems in order to get the answer, and when kids can't do it, they have a really hard time. When they can't do one, they often think, well, if I can't do this one, I'm not going to be able to do the next or the next or the next. So I do see that a lot as well. And I really liked how you talked about sharing your own struggles with the kids, and how it was hard for you, and you failed, and now here you're a math teacher, and the consequences for that being that they're not, they don't take risks. And then you talked a lot about selective abstraction, I think it was. So if it happens in one area, they think it's going to happen in every area. And the mind reading, that happens a lot. And when they do that, they don't trust themselves, right? So they don't give themselves the opportunity to continue to take risks, and challenge their growth. And I see that a lot in schools as well with kids. I think the most that I see with the youngins is mind reading, and kind of catastrophizing, especially in the behavior background. Most of the kids, they've already had it in their head, at some point or another, that they're bad. So they just continue to think that everyone thinks they're bad, or they're going to do this wrong, or they're going to do that wrong. and then it just kind of ultimately sets them up for failure. And with teachers, I see you talked about, behavior, and I think that was with, I'm looking over it, sorry, labeling and no, maybe the space for self, I don't remember which one it was, but you talked a lot about behavior and how teachers take it personally, and how behavior is really just a communication. And I agree with that 100%. I do understand how it can be really challenging for them not to take it personally and personalize it like it's directed at them, especially when day in and day out these kind of situations happen. However, I know, and I'm sure you know, that once you set that aside, set yourself aside and realize they're just trying to communicate something with you, it's so much easier to handle and work with, and you're not frustrated and angry, you're just trying to help. So I see that as well a whole lot. I also see with teachers and staff, the magnification and minimization. Like, I feel like so many things, like all the negative things are always highlighted, and not often enough are the positive things like celebrated. Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy being a teacher. I think especially this last year was really frustrating for a lot of people, but there were also so many areas of growth and areas of gain that I think weren't celebrated enough. And it wasn't until my last day of school, when I started my new position on the last day of school, that there was like a staff meeting, and all the teachers and their teams got the huge white sticky Post-it notes, and wrote down all of their celebrations and growths. And it was the first time I felt like I was a part of a group of people who were really proud and had expressed that to their administration with each other. And it just felt like this sense of, I don't know, harmony, and like it was nice for the negative not to be, so intense. And then the last question is using the cognitive approach. Give an example of how you deal with students who are failing. I thought a lot of the same things with students who are failing, like the guided discovery and the Socratic dialogue, to helping them kind of discover their beliefs and work through them and challenge those beliefs. I thought that too. And then I liked your idea of the three questions, what's the evidence, how can you interpret this evidence, and if it's true, what are the implications? And then you were talking a lot too about your disclosure and just disclosing your experience with failing, and how like it's not the end of the world. I think that's really important for kids to see that, you're a human, and you've gone through this kind of experience, and you turned out all right, and you're here helping them. So I thought that was a really great idea. And then with a child who is either depressed or anxious, you talked about doing kind of the same things, but taking it a bit slower, using it a little bit of the REBT, using books, and normalizing depression and anxiety, because it's real. A lot of people have it. And then using open-ended questions. And I, on top of that, also thought, I was looking at some of the things from the book, and I think I talked in my video about using some of the scheduling and the thought recording, because I think with depression and anxiety, it's so easy to get into that mode of, I don't remember which therapy it was, but the stinking thinking that we learned about. And so I think thought recording is a really good way to notice that. You record down your thoughts all the time, right? And then you listen to them, and you can realize, oh man, I do this a lot. And so it creates an awareness around it. And once you create that awareness, then you can challenge those thoughts. So I talked a lot about that in my video. And then having a making a schedule for that kind of stuff, you know, scheduling your activities and how things are going or what your thoughts are and what you're feeling during those activities, just to, as I said, bring more awareness around what's happening, and also maybe noticing what is triggering this and what's not. When am I feeling good and when am I feeling low? And then maybe using a little bit of homework in that sense. I don't know what that would look like, but I thought those were some of my ideas. But yeah, that's what I have. I hope you have a great weekend.